Hey guys, this is Brent with Western Equipment. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a complete product overview and short demo of the Stihl BG50. So stick with me here, we'll get started. Starting out, let's talk a little bit about the BG50 itself and what it's going to come with. Now, the BG50 is going to be the smallest in the gas-powered blowers, but it's also going to have the most power to weight ratio throughout the whole gas-powered lineup. Now, this being the smallest unit, it's also going to be the most price-friendly, but it's also going to be the most basic. So you're going to have very basic controls on this, basic starting mechanism, things like that. But with this unit is going to come the unit itself. You are going to have the standard one-piece tube. Being as again that it is that smallest unit, it is not going to have the adjustable tube. It is going to be a single piece. And then it is going to come here with your operator manual, guys. Definitely make sure before running this unit to check that out. If for some reason you do not get this with your unit, you can go on to Stihl's website and print these out. From here, guys, let's talk a little bit about the engine on this unit. So getting into the engine specs, the real meat and potatoes, this is what guys want to know, is how powerful is this machine? What kind of horsepower am I getting? Well, what you're getting in this BG50, even though, like I said, it is the smallest in the gas lineup, is you are getting a 27.2 cc engine and just a tick underneath 1 horse, as it is 0.9 horsepower. Now, we talked about this being the highest power to weight ratio. So you do have that 27.2 cc's right underneath 1 horse at 7.9 pounds, guys. So very light, very nice unit for that homeowner, you know, maybe that just starting out landscaper, you know, professional lawn care, whatever you may be doing. Great starter unit here, or home use unit. Now, the amount of force this thing's going to put out is right at 13 newtons. It's also going to have an average air velocity of 134 miles per hour with a top or maximum velocity of 159 mile per hour. So guys, those numbers, you know, may not mean a whole lot, you know, to some people, but just know that that's going to be putting out plenty of air to do what you're going to need to do in those applications that we talked about before. So from here, let's talk about our service points, and then we'll show you how to get this unit started. On this unit, guys, there's going to be 4 main service points. First one being our spark plug right up here on top, easy to get to. You're just going to be able to pull this boot off of here, then you'll be able to get to that spark plug. We're just going to want to make sure that, you know, we're checking that from time to time, making sure that that spark plug is good. You know, that's going to be a big part of making sure our engine's running correctly. Next thing is going to be right here, our primer bulb. You know, over time, these do deteriorate. Sometimes they do tend to crack or wear. They get that yellow discoloration, they get brittle, and they start to crack. So you'll want to be able to know that right there you can change that. You've got those 4 screws on each corner there that you can take loose, pull that metal plate off, change that primer bulb, and then get that back into the right running condition. Next is going to be right here is going to be your air filter. You've got this easy pull off tab there. That's going to be your air filter housing. Very easy to pull that off. As you can see, it is super simple to change that out. We just pop that back on there into place. We can pop our cap back on, make sure we're getting those lined up, and close it back down right here on the edges. Now, the other thing is going to be our fuel filter. It is going to be down here in the tank. It's a little hard to see there, but as you can see down in, you can see that hose running back, and your filter is going to sit right back in there. What you're going to want to do is get yourself a pair of needle nose pliers, pull that out from time to time, check that screen, and replace as needed. So from there, guys, let's jump right in and show you how to start this machine. So a couple things I want to point out here before we get started is, first off, you're going to want to get this unit filled up with the right fuel, being as that you are going to want a fuel mix of 50-to-1. Now, what we're using here is Stihl Moto Mix. This is their high-performance patented fuel. This is a 93-octane fuel with cleaners and stabilizers in it. This is what I like to start all my new units with. That way we make sure and get these units off to a good start when they first start out. This is also something good to keep around, you know, get you some at the beginning of your cutting season. Use it 2 or 3 times throughout the season. Just keep that carburetor good and clean. Keep the machine running, you know, at its top level. And then also a good practice is to put some of this in at the end of the season, as like I said, it does have those stabilizers that allow that fuel to stay good for around 2 years. So make sure, you know, take advantage of that. Now, before we get started here, first thing you're going to want to do is prime this unit. You know, good practice is, 5 times or more. You can't over prime. That's one thing that is kind of a misconception. Once you're priming that carburetor, any excess fuel is going to go back here into the tank. So just make sure you're good and prime there. And then next thing we talked about is the simplicity of this unit, being as that it is the smaller unit. So first starting out is going to be our choke lever here. Now, this is just your standard choke lever. It does not have that auto return to run once you pull the trigger. So right here we're in choke. This is run. If I was in that choke position, I started the unit and pulled the trigger. As you notice, it does not move back to the run spot. So you're going to have to keep note of that. You also have a half choke position that's right here in between choke and run that you may have to use to start. So next thing that I'd point out is, like we said about that simplicity here on top of the unit, you just have that simple rocker switch. Now, this is going to be your kill position. This is going to be your on position, and as you notice, there is not a spring there. It's in a spring-loaded switch that once you kill the unit, it'll go back to the run position. So you're going to want to make sure that when you're starting this unit, you pay attention to that and have it there in the on position. So from here, guys, I've got it in full choke as we haven't started this unit yet. I'll go ahead and pull the rope here, see if we can't get this thing started. Now we pulled it 5 or 6 times there and we haven't got it to go any, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back here to the half choke position. Right there, it's starting to fire. I've got it going there. Go back to the run position. Now, here's where I put my hand over the end. You can really hear that engine rev up. I let off, you can hear that it goes back down some. Put my hand over. Now, what you're doing there, guys, is you're building back pressure by putting your hand over there. You're building back pressure to that engine. What that's doing is just helping get everything warmed up in there. Just a really good tip and trick there when you're trying to start these blowers, and sometimes they can be cantankerous. So when you're starting it up for the first time of the season, or you haven't ran it in a while, I'd say go ahead and take that tube off, start it up, give yourself some back pressure once you get it started. Just good practice for when running this blower. So everything sounds good, guys. Let's take this thing out and do some work. All right, guys, so that was the product overview and demo of the BG50. I think, guys, that within this video, you probably saw anything and everything you wanted to see today, all the way from engine specs up to the actual blowing demo. You know, you were able to see in that demo that just how far away I was from that material, how well we were able to push that material on down the way, down the side of the barn here. You know, we were able to blow out those big chunks of material that had overgrown in the cracks there. Just showing you that this is a good, strong machine. Like we said, most power to weight ratio. You know, I didn't have any problems there holding the unit, going around the barn here, blowing things out, guys. Very nice, versatile unit. So guys, if there was anything in this video that I didn't cover, maybe you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to leave those in the comments section below. Maybe this is a unit that you guys are interested in purchasing, and if that's the case, you can go ahead and do that and get that from me. Just make sure to shoot me an email at brent@west-equip.com, or check in the description below for a link to our website, west-equip.com/parts. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.